order and chaos, two universal opposites from before the beginning of time. While most of us are familiar with the concept of positive order and negative chaos, there is also a such thing as negative order and positive chaos. We are living in a world filled with chaos and order, much of it negative on both counts. The widespread chaos of drugs, disease, and war have taken their toll on the planet, while political and corporate order threatens the freedom of not only the human body, but the mind as well. When the mind becomes slave to an order that would destroy its freedom and create chaos within the soul, it becomes necessary to disrupt that order, to destroy its power. There is a new chaos coming, one that has been growing over the past century, threatening to destroy all that the old order has built, threatening to create a new order that will have no respect for past, present, or future. A past that denies the pain of a people, destroyed. A present that has no understanding of history and its role in the present, it will be destroyed. A future that does not include 4/5 of the world's population must be destroyed. Welcome to the destruction of order.
Work with some people that I've grown up with and known for quite some time, and I'm finally able to work on a project that I'm pretty sure that everybody can relate to in some sort of way. The first track is called Never, and it's a submerged UR release. It's definitely a mixed combination of how I grew up in terms of music taste. I mean, that shit, I seen NXS down at St. Andrews, before they blew up, craft work. I mean, when you come in contact with bands from other nations, and I've been doing this shit since I've been like maybe 12 years old, AC/DC, all that sort of feeds into my creative process in a different way, I think. And that's why bringing a rock element, open up some parameters, make people hear techno and rock music in a different setting,
Are we ever gonna see the truth? What will happen ultimately if we do? The realizations of my brain, the revelations have been plain, and we caught in the crossfire, insane.
I love the idea of an independent label like you are, taking up prisoners and actually making music that everybody can feel. It may not have the repetitiveness and the violence that some music exudes out here today, but I'm happy to be a part of the label. I've known Mad Mike for years, ever since I was a kid, and it's just nice to know that someone's out there willing to take a risk as far as music goes, put something in the water, see what goes with it. Hey, I just want to say peace to the whole techno movement that I was a part of since the mid-'80s, and that's helped inspire me and put me in a situation right now where I'm hoping y'all feel what we're doing. Peace.
here, DJ 3000. Interstellar Fugitives, Volume 2. Yeah, it's a pretty big project for me to be on, considering that I grew up listening to a lot of the UR stuff and basically all the submerged labels. So always supported the label even before I started working here, which was like 5 years ago when I started working here. But when the first project came out like 97, 98, I just remember the impact it had, especially on my friends, Detroit, and really worldwide. But that album was so good to me because the sound that was on it was electro stuff, it was hard, it had ethnic sound and stuff, real percussion stuff, had all kinds of different stuff, direct steel type sounds, you know. But when it came out, Mirage was on there, Afro-Germanic, so the fusion of the sounds that was on it just really killed me when I got it, and that was the kind of sound I was into. When I heard it, I was like, wow, this is the shit right here. You know, so as soon as I got it on vinyl, you know, everybody was playing that stuff in the city, man. If you were a techno DJ, you were playing that fucking record, you know? So, you know, of course, UR is a legendary label, so for me even to be on it, and Mike even asking me to be on it, is great for me, considering that I didn't start making music really until I started working here. So, and when Mike asked me to be on it, of course, I'm gonna jump on the chance to be on it. So, submitted my tracks, and he picked one song. So I got one song on the album that, out of the 4 that I gave him, was probably my favorite one. So, and it fits the concept of the whole album. You know, I hate to be cliche and say a dream, man, but to even be on the UR compilation for me is huge, man, because I always looked up to Mike and the label, Submerged. So, for me to be on it is a big deal, man. So, I'm glad I'm on it, and I think it's gonna do well, man. Double CD. First, this volume 2. What is it? 8 years later, 7, 8 years later since volume 1. So, I think this one is, I hate to say better than the first. The first one was real dope, but this one, it way exceeds that one because of the type of style that's on this double CD. There's more producers on it. I mean, there's like, man, I don't know, there's so many producers from the camp here that's on it, so many different sounds, and you can really hear the difference in styles on it from each producer. And it's not just techno, it's not electro, it's not house, it's just all types of shit, from like hip hop sound and shit to dance floor stuff to just listening stuff. I mean, you can really hear the soul in that stuff, you know what I mean?
If it wasn't for Banks taking me into his camp and putting me on the computer and saying, Frankie, go ahead and sit in front of this computer, learn how to use it. You know what I'm saying? That's what he did. So I was like, cool, went and bought me some books and taught myself how to use a Mac. And it's been on ever since. Ever since. And everything that I have here is based on the fact, based on the knowledge of being able to use a Mac and make money. You know what I'm saying? So I make all my money from doing graphic design on Mac. So everything I have here is because of Underground Resistance. So I owe them a lot. You know what I'm saying? But now it's time for me to share my knowledge with the world. You know what I'm saying? so I'm gonna give y'all a whole lot. Interstellar Fugitives is a group of the top-notch techno artists from the city of Detroit coming together to bring you guys a collaboration of techno extravagance that you've never heard before. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be raw, I think, and I'm just proud to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm so glad that Banks finally decided, okay, yeah, Frank is gonna be part of this. You know what I'm saying? It's on.
This is DJ Scourge of the Aquanauts, coming at you from the depths of Submerge, Underground Resistance, on the Interstellar Fugitives 2 project that should be released in Japan. Working on the Interstellar Fugitives, let me see. Big opportunity. The first one was a huge success, and I'm very lucky, very proud to be working on this project. Even just being able to go over to Japan, where we actually worked on most of the project, finished the project in Japan. That was a great experience. As far as being a fugitive, a couple years ago, I don't think I would have thought I would have been sitting in the UR camp and also considered a fugitive now, but I've learned quite a bit, being with these guys. And I do have a couple tracks that made it to the record, which I'm very proud of, very happy to be a part of that. All the other guys that made it as well, everybody worked really hard. I think it's going to be a success when that gets released, and especially, I guess, sometime next year when the vinyl comes out, and everybody here in the States can hear what we did as well. That'll be great. Looking forward to possibly even touring with the Fugitives. Some of the Fugitives might go back over seas and tour off of some of this. I think that's going to be another great opportunity for some of us who are just getting started in this. But I'm very proud, and I hope everything goes well. I know it'll go well, and be watching. Keep an eye out for new Interstellar Fugitives too. It's gonna be hot.
excited about finally, getting on UR and getting some stuff out. It's been one of the labels that I always wanted to be on, and look forward to a lot of good releases next year. Got the Interstellar Fugitives project that I think is going to be a big success. Want to give Mike Banks a lot of props for finally, letting a brother like me get in and get some good work done while, most other people is so busy flying overseas and stuff, you can't never really catch up with them. So much props to you and the whole camp.
Revisit our childhood, man. Coming up down here in these projects, man, we can see, how the reality of urban life, it kind of play itself out, and that we come from here until what we are today, and when we think in terms of, our success and, what this industry is all about and what it means to us, we not only think of underground resistance, but we think of the urban reality of our circumstances, and our backgrounds. A lot of times we tend to forget where we come from and how we got to where we are today, and that's just one of the things that we enjoy doing down at Submerge. Underground resistance, we get together collectively as a group, and we enjoy reflecting on our past as well as our present. And what we find is that a combination of the both, we can see how we got to where we are today, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing what we do, and we encourage our fans, wherever they are, to be mindful of some of the traps and the snares that'll catch us up. And that's why I consider myself blessed to be able to stand here and share with you today some of the tricks that people use to get you caught up in the situations that's to their advantage. Drugs is a dangerous thing, and I don't care how a person will try to introduce it to you. or how they may try to make it appear, there's no future in it. You know, drugs is just a terrible thing to become involved in, and it's something that it's unnatural. It's unnatural, and when you try to put something unnatural into something that's natural, bad things happen. That's a good way to put it. When you put something unnatural into something that's natural, bad things happen. And what we know is that we have to be aware. We have to be aware of that. And yeah, I caution all the fans, especially those in places like Japan and China and over in Asia, you know, that they really don't know. See, the Western culture, you know, a lot of that stuff is what was introduced into the culture. But over there, to me, it's got a natural. It just look like everything over there is so natural and so serene. And to spoil that with a lot of BS, a lot of BS, it's not necessary. The music that we enjoy, we just hope that that's how underground resistance as a group is received, not in terms of something that somebody, you know, some kind of reputation or some kind of bad rap that the public are trying to put and try to tie that to us, and we're not about that. We about the music and putting out a product that the fans can enjoy, and something that you can just grow up with, and something that you can live by. It's a beautiful thing, and you know, like the old proverb says, you know, peace comes from within. So you got to go in there and get it. You can't get it from out there. You know, it's not out here. It's not a hocus pocus thing. It's a thing that you really learn to enjoy that comes from within. And so yeah, we try to bring that to you, and we just enjoy doing it. And we hope that this project that we got going with Interstellar Fugitive be well received out in the public.
Throughout history, order has been used to oppress and destroy people. Slavery was one of the most organized systems created by man, a system in which human beings were treated like cargo and packed onto ships and brought over and divided up into specific groups used for different purposes. It was the epitome of the perfect order. That was an order that needed to be destroyed. The chaos of the Civil War was used to help disrupt that system and destroy it as it needed to be destroyed. Chaos. Nazi Germany was an example of efficiency and order. Order that was used to divide.
Okay. The concept behind ISF2 is actually one that's been around for a few thousand years. It's the whole concept of chaos and order, and how it kind of relates to the yin and the yang, two opposites that are actually not quite opposite. They're actually united. They actually work with each other and against each other. They play off of each other. And so that's the basic concept that we went with. We were looking at how that had a lot of influence on what happened to us in the time between Interstellar Fugitives 1 and this one, and also, you know, not just looking at it in terms of the group, but also within all of our personal lives. All of us have experienced some kind of chaos that's disrupted the order of our lives. At the same time, we've also found that out of that chaos comes all kinds of interesting insights about ourselves and the people around us, and so it's actually served to advance us. So in that sense, as much as we've been dealing with chaos, we've also been learning from chaos as well. And that's what this is all about. The stuff that we're talking about isn't really new stuff. It's been around forever. When we decided to do this project, talking about a lot of the Asian influence on this particular release,
again, that comes from the whole idea of us being inspired by those concepts and seeing how those concepts relate to us and what we've been going through. So it's kind of an interesting thing when you think about it. You've got this storyline within the CD that talks about the fugitives coming to Asia in order to try to help the people there, and yet we find out that we end up being helped in the process of going over. In fact, the assistance that folks were looking for actually was always there. And I think the message behind that is that the things that you need most, you usually have. Sometimes you don't know it, sometimes you don't recognize it, sometimes you don't see it, but the things that you need usually are a lot closer than what you would ever expect. Resistance is very beautiful. Okay, the Interstellar Fugitives actually have increased from the last release. The first one, actually, there are some people who are not here with us on the second Interstellar Fugitives, but at the same time, there's been a large number of people who come to be involved in this particular project in different ways. One of the things about it, and one of the things that's so great about Interstellar Fugitives, underground resistance in general, is that you've got actually on this release, I believe there's 21, 22, between 21 and 23 different people involved in the actual musical recording part of this project. And what happens when you have such a large number of people coming into a project, you've got a large number of different perspectives, a large number of different approaches to a subject, a large number of just different ideas about how something should be handled. And what happens is, out of that chaos, we get something that's actually pretty beautiful. We get a certain type of unity amongst all these different ideas, and this one CD kind of encompasses such a broad spectrum of thoughts and opinions and perspectives on just really life. I mean, some of it has to do specifically with things that inspired us in Asia, but some of them, there's one particular track called The Streets that talks about being inspired by some of the chaos of the streets. And so, you know, we've got a large range of different perspectives that have come together on this. And I think that one of the ideas of unity within chaos, or the fact that you don't necessarily have to have the same opinions about things or have the same approach to things to come together. I think that's something that's really important that folks can take out of this. I think too many times people think that everyone has to have the same opinion or have the same approach, or we all have to be like-minded about something to make something happen. And actually, for us, it actually serves as a benefit that we're not like that.
I guess in trying to work on material for Interstellar Fugitives, Mike kind of just gave us a general direction to experiment, not necessarily thinking towards the dance floor, but thinking more towards using different sounds, using different types of instruments, ethnic instruments, in addition to your stranger techno sounds. So when I worked on my tracks, and the way I approached it was I was thinking more almost like a film or a soundtrack to a science fiction movie or something, or maybe like a Japanese animation, or something that was bigger than life, bigger than reality. So the sounds that I tended to use were very dark, brooding kind of string sounds, kind of these very low acid sounds in a couple of tracks that I worked on, flutes, percussion. I used Japanese Kyoto in one track, and after all the stuff that I had worked on, Mike chose two that were slower and more experimental, but I think they're going to fit into the theme that the first Interstellar Fugitives started with, which was kind of like this very otherworldly, outer space, still very dark and aggressive feeling to it. You feel like the tension in the tracks. There's a lot of aggression there. And that comes from partly from Detroit and also partly, I think, from everybody that's involved in UR, coming from a background where you had to struggle and fight for everything you got before. So I think that's going to come through in the music.
What is slide? Slide is something that Mike, Dex, and me came up with in the UR labs, and it's like taking some music and sliding it, like making it like wow, like just like a wobble, and putting some acid in it and some 909 kicks, and you know, making it like for like DJs, for like, you know, so they can go out and battle with it and just use it as a tool. And personally, man, I think slide came from an old UR track called Twister. It was an Acid Rain 2 or 3, I think. And that one, if you listen to it, it's got elemental slide all up in it. But Mike likes to say slide started like a year ago. Shoot, slide started like 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. But hopefully the world catches on to it and you know, plays it and likes it and keeps buying it. So that's pretty much it with slide, man. ISF2, man. ISF2 is a trip because it's like a schizophrenic album to me, man. You got one style, you got like Jit Song is like beautiful, and then you got something by like the Aquanauts on Crackzilla, and then you got like a track by Chuck. It's just like, it's like a 60s Vietnam vibe. I mean, you got everything on there, and you got Dex's track. And for me to be a part of that, it's an honor, man, because I get to present my style on like a wide scale for the world to hear.
told one of the victims is a child we do not know.
Following an ambush of a convoy near Basra. And in Fallujah, local police say
Well, really, we just basically did the track with these thoughts in mind, like being born and just going through life up to the time you die, basically. You know, just living, it's always gonna be a time where everybody gotta go to that next level. That's basically what the track is about.
Well, I haven't really forgotten much of anything. I just had to reflect on a lot of the memories, you know. It's been so many years that went by since that time. And all the fellows that I had met over there, we were like brothers. And we all had a thing like watch each other's back. And we'll be all right. We'll be back home one day. And that concept stuck in our mind to the point where it actually happened that way. I met this woman when I first got to Vietnam, old woman. She said war, she could speak pretty good English. And she told me, like, you know, why are you worried, GI? Well, I'm in a war, you know. I want to go back home. I want to really be here. But she said, don't you worry. This time, next year, I see you again. You know, so I had forgotten about it and went on to the war part, went on to my assigned unit, Big Red 1, which was a very tough unit. It was like a Ranger unit. And it was mostly, when I got there, it was very few blacks. You know, my company was like 150 people and about 25 blacks. So it was hard to get along with other guys, but I blended in right quick. I grew up in the woods, so I kind of knew what the surrounding was all about. And I caught on right away my job and what I was supposed to do to survive. And as time went by, I could reflect on quite a few battles we had. We called them firefights. And sometimes we had like 3 or 4 firefights a day. And it was very tiresome. It wear anybody out. It was like an 8-hour job, as long as you're doing 12. And it was a hell of a job. I miss a lot of my friends, which I'll probably never see again. But I can remember all of them, just like it was yesterday. We were very close, and we endured a lot. It's time for me to go home. I survived a lot of ups and downs. There were some good times, some bad times. But I looked at it as a positive way. I stayed close to my friends. And I come across this woman. I had 2 weeks left in the country. She walked up to me out of surprise. She walked up to me and said, GI. I said, GI. I looked around and there she was. It was like the war had started all over again. And she said, I told you, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna make it. You're gonna be fine. I was like in total shock. I felt good. She smiled at me, smiled at her. She said, take care. Live a good life.
stuff. Crew, 3 songs on the album. Songs that I'm on, Codeine Mustard, and Controlled Substance. The music I've been doing lately has been a bit more experimental, a bit more down-tempo, a bit more aggressive. Pretty much exploring my other music interests, hip-hop, down-tempo, techno, mixed them together, you know. So musically, I think I've progressed in from the last album. The last album was more electro, very aggressive. This album is a bit more open-minded. I worked with Kat from Japan. We did a track together, which is great. Reminds me of this complete, active, united, resistant feel, you know. So I'm pretty much happy with my progression thus far. And also, I'm one of the 2 designers for UR, for the Resistance, me and Abdul Haq. I also did the cover and design for the ISF2 album, Destruction of Order. And it was actually a chore designing it because, you know, as you know, there's a lot of opinions and a lot of detail, or it's just a lot of thought in the actual album, and it was hard for me, not really hard for me, but it was a chore for me to, you know, merge all these ideas and these concepts into one unified thing. But ultimately, the end product is dope. It's real good, you know, and I'm just happy that everyone is happy with it. There's a lot of detail in the actual design, so you know, hopefully I do a lot of proof of it as well. So so that's what I
Since 1998, we've been working together in close proximity to each other, bringing about a devastating array of myriad numerous possibilities, musical aficionados, tastes, Well, as of late, I've been a little remiss. I kind of lagged in the polls, so to speak. I came back with Geiger counter. This is semicolon Ipewake talking to you live. Please don't use any of those in that magnoplasma display. I know you're too wise for that. Young scientist. Yeah, young scientist, what up, though? CCLE, what up, though? I know a little bit more than you think I do. Smarter than the average Joe. Yo, fuzzy time. Talk to you later, stay funky. That's about it, fellas. Ladies.
James Pennington, aka Suburban Knight, for the UR program. One thing I want to talk about here is just, going all over the world, being an international DJ. It's nothing like home. Home is where the heart is.
top 3 clubs that I think in the world right now, okay? Number 1, Liquid Room, aka Old Liquid Room, aka New Liquid Room, Tokyo, Japan. Number 2, The Fuse, Brussels, Belgium. Number 3, Floridia, 135. That's in Spain, alright? All 3 massive sound systems. The vibe is just out of this world. New Interstellar, Fugitives. I'm coming off with just, still being a fugitive, number 1. And still getting my stuff played in the realm of being, one of the few of the Interstellar Fugitives. It's kind of different from the old concept. The last concept was really introduction. My last track on it was Maroon, by the African tribes. My man, live long and prosper. But the next Interstellar Fugitive project is going to be really a little bit more darker for me, and much more wild.
judge of the music. All the various guys that turned in tracks for Interstellar Fugitives 2. So we got veteran producers and then a lot of the young guys that turn their projects in. And with any, UR, EP, album, whatever we put out, I always try to look for the absolute best that the
producer can bring. So kind of like a really high military type of level of achievement to get onto the project. So it's a lot of competition between all the various graphic artists, the various musical producers, and also the conceptualists, because it takes those three teams within UR to make any one project go off. And I demand the best out of the people. And at UR, a lot of the guys is used to, we call it getting beat down or getting beat down. When they bring something that's inferior, it's eliminated. And if they bring too many things that's inferior, then they are eliminated, like in evolution. So my purpose in this project was to ensure that our best effort went forth, because like a lot of times I explain to the musicians and the conceptualists and the various graphic artists that these projects will probably projects will, and the music will outlive them. So they have to look at it as if, what's my contribution to humanity? You don't wanna make a shitty or mediocre contribution. What would your kids think of? So, a lot of guys didn't make it, just to put it simply. And we always encourage them to try hard. The next time there'll be another project, and that's how we kind of keep the best music coming out through fierce competition.
basically they're rooted and grounded in gospel from way back. You know, we all know the story, but there's still future rhythms, and to me, it expresses really deep down in my soul what I feel about the music, and it's really through gospel. So to me, the link is really freedom in the music, more than just freedom, but it's just evolution of it, and it's just an uplifting thing, you know. So when I'm playing the church, when I'm playing recording some techno music, basically I get the same feeling. It's just a vibe, an openness, and it's a release for me.
Finishing the project in Japan, I guess it's kind of like a cultural experiment. I think the brothers that brought us over was, in a sense, interested to see what type of changes would happen when we got over there. That's why we did most of the project in Detroit. I wanted to ensure, I was worried that people would get over there and get soft and, lose the edge. I think a lot of artists, when they travel outside of their original environment, tend to change. So this was a drastic experiment in if that would actually happen. On the other hand, we wanted to be in the actual area where all these great warriors came from, to soak up some of the spirit from them, bring our spirit to them. So I think for the projects that we finished, we started 3 or 4 particular projects in Japan and actually finished them in Japan. So for the listener, it'll be interesting to see, to see the change. And I noticed that some artists definitely changed, and if they stayed over there too long,
wouldn't have been the same person. And I think a change was for better. Widen your experience, greater understanding of humanity, all that type of stuff. But you know, when you're making records, that shit don't mean nothing, really. Some of them didn't change at all, and they just brought the shit over there with them, which was particularly fucked up. And we had some days where we was fighting and arguing and going nowhere, all to make a better product, which is Detroit. You know, we fight hard, and some people just brought the fight with them. Probably, yeah, some of them. I ain't gonna say who, but yeah, definitely was very interesting to see. Some people can't change, and other people adapt very quickly, learn picking up the language, picking up how to eat with the chopsticks or the customs, what's rude, what's not rude. And then, you know, other people don't even give a fuck, you know, and they just spread their particular way of how they do shit, which ain't bad neither. It's just how you get along, you know. So not to say one is better than the other, you know. I think Detroit had a lot of flavor, you know. People should be careful. What I guess the overall lesson in this whole project is you should be careful what you ask for. You know, if you want some Detroit guys coming to your place and doing their thing and all that, well, you know, hey man, you just gotta be careful. I seriously doubt if anybody will ask us to come over there anytime soon. Tell you the truth, man, I don't know how to say it, but a lot of times I'll be feeling sorry for Japan. And the reason for that is they're not very, very careful, and especially in the young people. They don't wake up real quick. You know, a lot of them ask me what Detroit is like, what's Detroit like, because they just imagine it's big fucked up ghetto, decayed, industrial zone, or whatever goes through their head, gangs, or whatever type of stereotype they have. But if they don't wake up real quick and see what's hitting them, then they gonna live in Detroit real soon. That's what I see. I think Detroit's ahead of the game. We already been through what they about to go through soon. They get programmed to wear this, be this, be that, be everybody but your damn self. And they should take it from me. When you don't know who you are, you're fucked up. So they're very fortunate to know who they are. And having your roots mean a lot. Because without no roots, then you're like a tree with no roots. Anytime the wind blows, you just fall over. So they should be very careful about what they take in through their eyes, and, because some of the questions people ask me just show me how stereotyped we are as African Americans over there. They think all of us rap or sing or box or sports, or it's just it's very stereotypical images of us, and a lot of people ask me those stereotypical questions, when in reality they don't know what the fuck's up my mind, and usually it ain't nothing good. So they should be careful. Like I said, they'll be in Detroit soon.